I can't do
Hello
math.
and welcome to Nerdarchy. For nerds by nerds, I'm Nerdarchy Steve, and we're gonna be playing some Ingest Quest tonight, powered by
Hey.
the Quest RPG. I'm gonna hand it over to our guide.
Hey, I'm Nerditor. I am the aforementioned guide for Ingest Quest Season 2, which is a culinary exploration of fantasy space. And as you are in space aboard Arlash, following Ularin's hippo tracker that they placed on Dr. Sherbert West, Nerlag, who also wound up staying on board and has been sort of like chronicling the journey and recording things, has been sort of just meandering the ship because he was given free reign. And as our story starts tonight, he is sitting down in the lounge with Oralu and just asking him, so yeah, that was pretty crazy what just happened there. What do you think about? What were your thoughts on that?
So running out of fuel, the whole aspect of doing a ghost kitchen and whatnot, that's pretty crazy. That kind of stuff doesn't happen all the time, right?
Yeah, and I mean, and being just a super fan of the original series, how does it feel to be thrust into the middle of these?
Oh, I'm just along for the ride. I mean, this is about the people who matter, the people who do things.
He's like, well, face it, you're one of them. And as he sort of fades out, he will go talk to the next person who would like to recap the last session to Nerlag. Who you want to pick somebody?
So I will toss it to Zirkos.
All right.
All right, so I'm just glad that Arlash finally got something to eat. He was waffling there for a bit and not feeling great, and it was interesting seeing some old friends again. A bit less meaty than the last time, and she says meaty, like she's not sure what word she's looking for there, like she's not sure if that's polite in humanoid company. I will toss it to Steven.
So, we had quite the escapade involving ghosts. I love ghosts. They're the best. They were so hospitable. They fed us their ghost food. No calories, by the way. Isn't that lovely? Oh, so nice. We also had a little surprise for Erlon. Okay, there were a few surprises. Not the least of which was him getting to meet Bethany, the eldritch horror that lives in my basement. There may be a budding love going on there. Who knows?
And what do you have to say about all these goings on, Ularn? It looks like you're being exposed to quite a few different things.
Oh, I had such a delightful time with Bethany and our tea party. The crumpets were absolutely divine. Maybe Eldritch, I don't know, but they were delicious. And she was such a great conversationalist, and we had so much in common. I couldn't believe it. To know what it is like to drive whole civilizations before you and wipe out budding people all over the place, and realize that there's just a better way to live. So we really enjoyed connecting. Although I think I was kidnapped a little bit, but it kind of worked out in the end.
He's like, sounds pretty tight.
And hey, we got a new pot out of it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Would you care to share that with the viewing audience?
Sure. So it's for spacious pot. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. And you can put stuff in it, and it's gonna get teleported to some other shadowy dimension, and then sometime later it'll appear back, kind of more slimy but cooked, and then the recipe is gonna appear on the outside. So it's definitely gonna find some use here.
Absolutely. And it's around this time that you get word from whoever, let's say Arlashi seems to be setting the course, that he contacts you, Sir Cass, and he says, hey, Mom, he's like, according to our navigation, we're where that Carnab asteroid ought to be, but it's not here.
It's not here.
No, it should have been following, we should have intercepted its trajectory right around here. and I don't see anything. Not picking up anything.
So sensors aren't picking up anything.
He's like, well, I suppose I could. I don't know. I mean, is there anything you want me to check for?
Perhaps if you could attempt scanning the space around where it should be for, oh, what is the word I'm looking for? Anomalies?
Anomalies? I'll
Yeah.
give it a shot. I'm gonna roll the die. And put my little handy guide. He's like, I don't know, nothing seems out of the ordinary. I'm not really sensing anything that shouldn't be there. And at this point, you guys are inside a crystal sphere. There's no phlogiston around. So it's like normal, what you would think of as outer space, not the multicolored flammable gas outside.
This is most unusual.
Only Sir Koss knows, or is that something the rest of us know?
Well, I mean, he just contacted her telepathically.
Okay, sure.
Prize the captain.
I would certainly make an announcement to the rest of the crew. We are very open to suggestions.
So, I mean, Urlash is pretty awesome and stuff, but could the settings be off? Could we, have zoomed by where we're supposed to go? We're not quite there yet. I mean, there's definitely lots of options. Space is pretty big, and accidents happen. I'm not trying to say anything bad about Urlash. She's awesome.
Thanks, buddy. You see him turn a shade of yellow around you.
I just want to go to the deck and look around.
All right, make a roll. Let's see.
And I will engage my spy glasses.
Oh, okay.
My monocle.
Is there anything special I should know about this before we roll these dice?
Yeah. So let's see. I'm going to adjust. I'm going to adjust the spy glasses. So I don't see any things for that. First I'm going to I'm going to look into the infrared spectrum to see if anything's producing heat in that space where it's supposed to be.
Sure. Excuse me. So you do that and roll the die just to see how well you adjust your spy glass.
All right. Tough choices. So 8.
Okay. So you're detecting two things. There's in the infrared spectrum, it's actually, you notice an absence of heat. It's almost like a negative heat. Where a heat trail would be if this thing was following the path. But you're also detecting faint traces of like superheated chunks of cabbage that are just like drifting off in another direction, sort of in a cloud.
Interesting.
But the other thing looks like an actual, like you can see like it's a distinct path.
Oh, so I'll point in that direction, and I'll totally Titanic it on the prow there, and call for Surlash to follow that trail.
He's like, all right. He's like, I can do. I'm pretty still full from that pizza. I got plenty of energy, or that cake. And he continues on that dark heated trail, and it's not too long. I mean, relatively. And while you're up there, you see a few the bitter bugs have joined you up there, which I've named Bert. He's the head one, and then there's also Bruce and Brenda, and they're sort of like just arranged up on the prow there, or whatever constitutes that on Arlash, hanging out with you, just like clinging to the thing. Arlash is going pretty fast. They're like, you think you're hot on the trail?
Is how far ahead can you kind of see?
I mean, you're in space, so it's hard to tell. I mean, something could be like real big, or like and far away, or maybe it's just like, oh geez, it's just like a little pebble going by your head. What are you trying to determine?
I guess I guess I'll make another adjustment on my spyglasses
Sure.
and add the ability to magnify the details of small nearby objects or zoom to see things far away clearly. So I'm going to zoom.
Oh, yeah. So you do, and that's just like an ability, right?
Yeah. I'm going to be out of action points very soon.
Okay. So yeah, you do. You continue adjusting, and you're like, obviously you're on some trail, and you do actually pick up the. It just looks like basically a giant cabbage in space, but it has this big like furnace-looking thing that is on the back of it, and is emitting like this dark heat energy that is causing the trail that you're. Yeah.
Whoa! Cabbage ahead!
And actually, at that magnification too, you can see that in the like ahead of that cabbage asteroid, there's a small planetoid that is. It just looks like it's sort of all white, and it's sort of you can tell with the magnification of your spyglass that it looks like it's sort of like undulating.
Yeah, it's not a spyglass; it's spyglasses, completely different.
So you got like the.
Except for it's in the monocle, yeah.
So
cabbage.
what Dave mentioned, the AP points.
Mm-hmm.
Did we get a rest? Did we get anything?
Oh yeah. It's been like a few hours and stuff. Between sessions of just
I call over my shoulder.
Unaccounted for travel.
Christopher, do we have any ham in the larder?
I don't know. Guy, do we have any ham in the larder?
Roll the die. We'll see if when you stocked up at the ghost kitchen and such, if you get
9.
You do, but it's like right on the edge of being going bad.
We do, but it looks a lot like the ingredients you used the last time you tried to cook.
Oh no. The last time I used those ingredients, I got hit over the head and drug through a mysterious mansion.
Wait, is that why you threw him a party? Because he made bad food?
Oh, no. We threw him the party because we love him. We did not throw him the party because he did something wrong. We don't want to encourage that behavior.
Okay. Just making sure, because that seemed a little odd. I thought, made it a party because, he hadn't really gone to a party.
No, it's important to distinguish between caring about someone and caring about someone's actions. So, why do you need ham exactly, Erlan?
Are you trying to attract a dragon?
No, I heard somewhere it goes really good with cabbage.
Oh, you weren't going to do any, performances? Be a real ham?
No, and no. I was just thinking, we got all this cabbage up ahead. We might as well put it to use.
Oh, not a bad idea, actually. I could go for a morsel of something. What are you thinking, Sirkas? I mean, I know vegetables aren't much your train.
I mean, honestly, I'm just thinking, how did they do this if someone stole it?
Oh, there's a dark energy reactor on the cabbage itself.
So is the cabbage a planet?
It's asteroid.
It's an asteroid that people mine for cabbage. It's an important resource.
So they're using the dark energy reactor as propulsion then?
Yes, that's what it appears to be.
Does anyone have enough mechanical savvy to know how fast that would go? Like, are we even going to be able to catch them? Or should we be more worried about figuring out where they're going and head them off?
Arlush is like, oh, I can totally catch this thing. We're gaining on them right now.
Oh, wonderful. You are such a good SpellJammer. You know that? And I just kind of like look for a surface and then pat.
He turns a little shade of red.
So do you think that, they put the reactor on there to, steal it and make it their own?
I don't know. Why would you steal an entire asteroid of cabbage?
It's a valuable resource. I heard
It is a
someplace.
valuable resource.
Going to the market on greens?
It goes really well, pairs well with ham.
You never know. Different people use different things for trade and currency, so I wouldn't be surprised.
I hear scrow and cabbage is a delicacy.
Though, in all fairness, and I might be wrong, I'm not much of a weird venturer, as it were, but Nerlag, I feel like you might know something about this. Is it true that there are many asteroids that have materials much more valuable than cabbage?
He's like, oh, absolutely. I mean, this is just like the finest stuff in the galaxy. He's like, but if I'm not mistaken, that planet, I think that's Renuium, if I'm not mistaken.
So either there's a more valuable substance on the cabbage asteroid that we don't know about, or they just really want cabbage specifically.
What do we know about Renuium?
Make a roll. We'll see what you know.
All right. 16 success.
Yeah, actually, despite your wanting to get out of the gift lifestyle, you did pay attention in briefings and all that stuff like that. And that is an even more important plant. It's actually composed entirely of lactic acid, and it's where all of the Versus skincare products are created. It looks like the cabbage's impact is imminent. There's a whole colonies of people that that work at these plants that sort of drift on this creamy.
So it looks like they weaponized it.
I am not entirely.
Who do you think knows the most about how dishes are made and so forth?
What kind of dishes? Like actual dishes or like food dishes?
Food. Yes. I should have been specific with this group. I think Orlu, is he just a fan of the show or a fan of
everything?
culture?
He's fully into mass consumer of other people's things.
Oh. Well, I'll say that Orlu knows then this little factoid that lactic acid is the fermenting agent for kimchi and fermenting things.
So if you've got the lactation element and the cabbage right there, you've got everything you need to get things moving.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll certainly share all of that in a much winded angle about what show he learned it on and celebs that are involved. But somewhere in there are those little factoids of what's important to the story at hand.
The fiend, he wants to make that entire thing of cabbage kimchi? What a waste. I don't like kimchi.
But to what dark end?
And don't you have to bury that stuff for 100 years or something?
That is part of the process. You bury it in clay jars traditionally.
I mean, there's definitely faster ways of doing it, doing the 100-year version. Technology's come a long way.
Oh, he can accelerate the rate of aging. It's not something I can do, but it's something I know how I can learn how to do.
Yes, you would know that through your necromantic knowledge.
Do we see any sources of clay jars? Giant clay jars.
He took a bunch from
he
the
did.
Ghost Kitchen.
Yeah. That fiend.
What is Dr. Sherbert trying to do?
Apparently make a lot of kimchi.
Well, maybe we ought to land on that there cabbage asteroid and ask him.
Oh, I don't intend to ask him anything. I'm going to wrap him up and liquefy his insides.
Well, what do you think about, we're going to fight a kimchi ooze monster thing?
Well,
Now-
not if we stop the cabbage from hitting the planet.
It would be best if we didn't allow it to get that far. The cabbage is an important resource to many people here.
What if you took a slimy ingredient like that and put that in the new pot? What would that do?
I don't know, but I think we should probably stop the collision and then we can probably ponder that.
I'm just
Indeed.
having a bantering conversation while I'm waiting. I can't really get out and push and make us go faster. So
Not with that attitude, you can't.
But bear in mind, Dr. Sherbert isn't alone. He does have the deep fried ones, aka the crab rangoons.
I'm
So-
going with that.
We-
That's a cooler name.
We definitely need to be aware that we could be walking into some sort of trap. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what he's planning, frankly speaking. I'm just appalled that he's leaving such evidence. Like, if you're going to commit a crime, don't leave any evidence. Like, that's basic.
well, I saw something said that you should expect everything as a trap, and that's how you stay alive.
Hmm.
It was in some kind of show.
How does one trap a trapper? Sirkas, I feel like you have thoughts on that.
Well, generally with the proper bait. Unfortunately, we don't know what he's doing, so we don't know what he wants yet.
Well, we
Harlosh.
got jars and cabbage. What's the next step in the ingredient? What else is he going to do with it?
Probably something disgusting.
I think Christopher knows this guy better than the rest of us. I mean, I've heard tell that sherbet is supposed to be sweet, but there's nothing about this guy that seems sweet to me.
Perhaps he's lingered past his use-by date.
Well, I definitely feel there's things to unpack in that metaphor. I wonder, he obviously wants this other, is it an asteroid or a planet? Guy.
Cabbage is an asteroid. Renuium is a planet made of lactic acid.
Okay. He obviously wants the planet. Now, I don't think we can move the planet as such, but we might be able to show up on the asteroid. Here's the thing. Sherbert clearly loves leaving evidence, right? Like, we've observed this. So if we just show up, he might do that whole villain monologue thing that, any proper self-respecting villain would never consider.
Or he sticks us in the with the kimchi.
I mean, while that does sound dreadful, it could be really interesting.
He might not have known that we were going to be able to follow him. I mean, probably
Mhm.
wasn't expecting the hippo tracer.
It's true. Which is still working.
Nerlag, do you have thoughts?
He's like, I'm just a third-party observer. He's like, "But I think it looks like this little SpellJammer's going to catch up to him in just a second, though. And sure enough, Arlash is sort of coming up and skimming, closer to it and looking for a safe place to land. And he's sort of a light blue color as he finds what seems like a safe, sort of obstructed place to land is. He's concealed by it. And as you get closer, it's like the folds and leaves of the cabbage are like miles long. They're like tectonic plates and stuff. So like even little bumps in it are like mountainous and stuff. So he finds a concealed place where he needs a break. And actually, as he lands, he's sort of like munching on the cabbage while you're away. But he does have a mixture of a little bit of fright and just disgust. He's like, there's something. This cabbage tastes a little funny. And Nerlag on his little device starts like a fuzzy message starts coming in, and it's like a sort of a harsh voice, and she's you hear it saying like, "Hello, is there someone there? Hello?" And it's kind of like quiet and whispered.
Hello?
And
Who's this?
she's like, is somebody here? Is somebody nearby? She's like, I'm Supervisor Zandu Xanth. She's like, I head the crew here. She's like, we're holed up. This crazy doctor showed up with these goonish fried crab creatures and hijacked the asteroid. She's like, it's set on a collision course.
Indeed.
She's like, well, that's timely. How did you find us?
We happen to be hot on the trail of this mad doctor. Where is he, by chance?
She's like, I don't know. The call, the alarms went off when my squad and I were at a outpost on the moon here. She's like, I think he set up some kind of furnace. I haven't seen one of those in I can't even centuries. She's like, it's generating like a dark heat. It's pushing the cabbage towards renewium. She's that's what you get so far.
Seems to me as though our first order of business should be to shut that down.
Or see if we can't get it turned around.
Indeed.
Well, she's like, she's like, yeah, if you can. She's like, I know that they're usually powered by like magical objects, so presumably if it's got one in it, if it could be removed, maybe that would stop it. And she'll give you like what is essentially like the coordinates of where that is.
And I guess that's the first stop, and then we take out the sherbet.
And she's like, I know he buried a bunch of clay jars full of like just revolting smelling stuff. And she'll give you like the coordinates of where that is as well. She's like, it looks like there's some kind of word up on it. I picked it up on our scanners, some sort of like energy around it. And that's what she said. She's like, we'll just sit tight. If you can get to that furnace and shut it down, that would definitely avert a disaster. She's like, there's thousands, maybe tens of thousands of people down there.
Oh no. He's not just trying to make kimchi, he's trying to make corrupted kimchi.
He might be trying to he might be trying to make angry ghosts so that he can make more food monsters. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not against more food monsters, but like, once again, he's very uncouth in how he's going about this whole thing. It's really kind of a problem for me. So I taught him better than this.
Do we split up? There's 4 of us in 2 locations. Do we do 2 and 2, or do we just all go to one and then all go to the other?
You know what? Erlon is a strategist and a mercenary and has military tactics. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I don't think we should split our forces unless there's a timely reason to do it. I think we can probably take down one objective and then the next.
Okay.
So
you feel pretty confident about that.
First thing to do is get this cabbage either turned around or at least stopped.
I concur.
Let's do it.
All right, so let's head to the engine, the thing.
All right, so yeah, it's not far, and like when I say it's imminent, like I don't mean like in 5 minutes. I mean like at this rate, probably in like a day or 2. It's not like you have minutes to spare. Just to give you a sense, or like within the day. You know what I mean? Just so you don't think like that time is not that much of an issue. You can tell. So yeah, you make your way on foot through these giant folds of cabbage, and there is something just sort of eerie about it. Like you see sort of like little black veins that have sort of started to crawl throughout the like the stems and things of these giant leaves and folds. But eventually you do, not too long, make it to where that furnace that Ularn had spotted with his magnifying glass. And it's a pretty big structure. Looks like it would have probably taken up most of that ship that he stole back at the gala to haul it here and set it up. But it's just sort of like affixed into the thing. It's of dwarven make, but like really, really old. Like they haven't used these things in like centuries.
I mean, I love a good antique, but this feels a touch off. Are there any guards? Like any of those tried ones guarding the area?
So yeah, you sort of like hide behind, some big folds of leafy greens and watch for a while. And you don't see anything moving, but like after, how you just look at something long enough and you start like really seeing it close. It appears to be like little inert rangoons that are sort of like, how a crab would just sit on the ground with like all their arms and stuff in front. So it just looks like sort of like a big fried hush puppy.
Plan for this.
You have a plan for it?
I do. And I'm going to walk up to them.
Okay.
Oh, I like this already.
So yeah, when you get, what's the word? Let me use the right term. In range, they're not, that's just to describe the distance. They sort of like, stand up, and there's like two of them that you see, to either side of this giant furnace thing. And they just sort of like peer curiously at you, but otherwise don't do anything.
I raise a hand and weave an illusion in the air of a turtle. Like a big turtle. Did you know that turtles are natural predators of crabs?
I did not know that, but I do now. That's cool. And they certainly know that. That's like your big illusion ability, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So what does you have this turtle do? I mean, it's their enemy, so they definitely like start scuttling sideways.
It's just gonna chase him off.
Oh, okay. They just continue to like sort of go sideways, scuttling off as this turtle plow. It's like super big, sort of.
Yeah, giant turtle.
Yeah, and it's just like crushing the giant leaves of cabbage.
I summon Raphael.
And as you see those two that you had seen scuttle off, you actually see like two more in the opposite direction that sort of like come out from behind the furnace and are like in the other way.
I'll turn to Uralu and Christopher. Did you know Sir Cass had a pet turtle?
I did not, but I really like her taste in the appearance of that turtle.
Sir Cass is really powerful.
She clearly is not only powerful, but clever. Clever and glamorous and... Oh, honey. I must learn.
So up towards this, you can tell just visually, it's like rusted, still sturdy and stuff, but I mean, it's just like huge bolts that are like, this big around. Well, I guess huge to me, but maybe not to Ularn. What's that? Who's like 9 feet tall or whatever. But yeah, it's just like solid rusted iron, and it's just like a big kind of like Stargate-y looking, like metal ring thing on the back, and you don't see any energy coming out of it, but you, like as you get closer, you can kind of like feel the air vibration. And if you hit your magnifying glass still chain, you can see that coming out of the back. But like, do you walk around it, or like how are you guys checking it out? Like you just sort of approach from the back. It's probably about as big as like, I don't know, a small house.
Yeah, I guess we're looking for some way to access it, some way to get in.
Is it high?
How would you guys go about checking out to do that? There doesn't appear to be any. It's just like a solid, sort of looking.
Oh.
Well, so I mean, like there's no, what I'm saying, like there's no like. You can't like see any scaffolding or anything. It's got like a riveted shell around it. Looks like.
Sirkos, you can't climb on that thing, can you?
Oh, I absolutely can, if you think that's prudent.
Well, we need to find this source, right?
Well, I mean, you guys know magic. Do you have ability to see if there's magic somewhere? Didn't the person say something about like, an item of magic fuels these things?
Unfortunately, such perception is not a part of my skill set.
I can sense if there are spirit things nearby.
Really?
Yeah, that's a death sense thing. It's just a passive, like your GM will or your guide will tell you when this sense is triggered. But I can
Oh,
also
well, then
try
it's
to
definitely
sense
triggered.
if sentient creatures have died nearby, how long ago, can sense locations they died, general nature of their death. Like it's a whole mess of things. But that I have to spend points on. The passive is just like your guide will tell you if you see some
Oh,
spirit.
yes, you absolutely sense a spirit nearby.
Oh, yes, I
Oh,
do.
are your spirit senses tingling?
They are.
It's Christopher Tingle.
Where is it at?
It seems to be coming from within. Like I mean, I don't know how precise it is, but I would say like you're pretty in tune with the spirits. You get the sense of like a panic spirit within this thing, not inhabiting the device, like separate from it, but like inside.
I think
You get, like a
there's
sense of like just
something
panic.
unliving or living inside it. Let me try something.
Okay.
And so he just approaches and his eyes go really black and
Mm-hmm.
like the whole area just sort of dims. And I want to try to commune with the dead, which is basically
Okay.
being able to speak to a ghost or
Sure.
anything like that.
Yeah. So you reach your mind out and you do sense a spirit presence from within this thing.
Hello?
Like, hello? Is somebody
Hi.
out there?
Yes. Christopher McDonough, and you are?
My name's Rosemary Sage.
Oh, well, lovely to meet you, Rosemary. Question. Are you aware of what's going on with this?
She says, "No, I was out in the old forest near home, just looking for herbs and such, like I usually do, and I was trapped inside some weird fey creature just trapped me inside of some sort of crystal. I've been in here for quite a while." Uh, she's like, "I'm not even sure where I am, but recently it was pretty calm actually. I was in here with my friend Samantha, and I say hi, Samantha, and you hear like, "Meow." And
Oh, you have a
she,
cat.
yeah, she's my familiar. Um, and she's like, "Yeah, but just recently it got like much darker and colder. I'm not sure what's going
Oh.
on."
Do you feel weak or upset or anything?
Well, I'm definitely not happy. There's something, I feel like it's draining on me, like draining away what's left of me.
Oh, I see. Do you know where this crystal is in this general vicinity, perchance? I'm not seeing it offhand.
Let's see. Yeah, she says, I these big sort of like crab-like things put me in here under the direction of uh, this really creepy-looking fella. He seemed to be controlling them with some sort of claw that he had, like a scepter in his hand.
Oh, that's Dr. Sherbert for you. I don't know what it is with the claws. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it
But
was like all
yes,
like mummified and really gross and old looking.
yeah, right. Not in good taste.
No.
Anyway, let's get you out of here. Do you want to be in the crystal? Let's start there.
Well, I really don't know what'll happen when if I, or how to get out of here.
Hmm.
I've got a
If
pretty
I
long lifespan, so I figured sooner or later somebody might come along or something would happen. I mean, just trapping me in here to be bored for eternity seems pretty lame. She's like, I have explored a little bit. There's little meadows here and there, but no people.
Well, I can remove you from the crystal, and then you could choose to go and explore the multiverse. You could Live in my house. I always am welcoming guests in my home. There's many. Bethany's lovely. She would show you around, I'm sure. Or, we could figure something else out. It's up to you. I just need to know what you want.
Well, I've been on lots of adventures, and I'm getting kind of bored of this, like, sort of esoteric void I happen to be in.
Oh,
So-
well, I imagine that'd be terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty interesting at first. I like new things.
So, Doug, I have an ability, and it's
Okay.
supposed to be for knowing the capabilities of creatures or people.
Okay.
It's just basically you evaluate the capabilities
Oh.
of a creatures.
Sure.
And I will give you information about their capability, strength, vulnerabilities, that kind of stuff. Can I size up the building? Like,
Yeah.
it's like a weak point to gain entry?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you sort of give it your one over as Christopher is. Do you talk out loud, or is this sort of like?
Oh yeah, he's talking out loud, and he'll be communicating anything if they can't hear. So
you hear that voice sort of like echoing. It sounds like it's bouncing off the metal. Sorry, Ted. Were you saying something, Ted?
No, I was saying.
Oh, okay. I thought you said.
Yeah,
I thought
I will, while he's talking, I'll just kind of begin doing a perimeter and just trying to
Sure.
Do I see a door? Do I not see a door? Do I see any spots that look rusty or messed up?
Yeah, you definitely give it the once over, and you can tell that like you could just bust it open with sheer damage by doing like 10 points of damage. But there's also it is clever dwarven design, even though it's old, and there is actually like access panels and things in it. They're just really hard to see, but you actually find several of them. It just takes like simple tools and a little bit of elbow grease.
Yeah, so I'll let people, I'll let the group know what I see, and this is, I think, the best way to get in. But up to you guys.
I'm inclined to go with the stowaway for this one.
I was like, oh.
Well, he isn't a stowaway anymore.
Right, but he's clearly good at getting in places he's not supposed to be.
This is fair.
Yes.
Well, got some experience. Just saying.
Proceed.
So again, another ability.
Okay.
Wild attack just allows me to deal more damage. And
Sure.
since the thing's not moving, it's basically will take me half as long to barrel through. And if you want rolls to see how quickly I do 10 damage,
Just give me a roll, just because I like rolling dice.
Sure.
To see what it is.
10 damage. I typically do 2.
And what is your thing? Does double? Or
So
something like that?
if I roll a natural 20, it's quadruple. A regular
Okay.
is double damage.
Okay. Cool.
4 damage on the first strike, 4 damage on the second strike, and not a crit. So 4 damage on the third.
So you can tweak this interpretation if you want, but I would imagine he just sort of like is taking like measured, sort of like jabbing his blade in, a weak point to get it out. And as they're talking, and just sort of like pops it open. Well, people maybe just were starting to like, what is he doing? You're just like, dish, dish. But you can feel free to.
So I would say, there's a weakened area, and it just makes one slash this way, one slash that way, one slash that way. Pop it down, and now we've got a ramp.
You're awesome, yeah. And it actually, just leads up, and inside is just sort of like, some like arcano babble, muckety muck stuff. But there's like the unusual thing is this sort of like bluish crystal orb that is set into the center of it, where there's like sort of it looks like there's like heating elements around the thing it's set in that are sort of like pulling energy out of it, and you see like a sort of reflection inside. It's probably like maybe like this big, I don't know, like a beach ball size. And there's like a reflection of a humanoid that looks like they sort of have like herbs for hair and like they're wearing like a mantle with like giant leaves and things like that. And there's just like a little cat sort of like weaving around their legs. You're muted.
Rosemary, is that you, darling?
And the figure looks over and she's like, "Oh, it's that wonderful man who I was just talking with. Boy, I didn't realize you were that close. When I heard those
yes.
banging on the thing, I was a little frightened."
Oh, well, you have Uralu here to thank for me being that close.
Hi.
Now,
Well, thank you, Master Orlu.
No.
Figure
No
inside.
master necessary. Just Urulu.
and this is Erlan. He's lovely. And this is Sirkas. She is everything everyone wants to be and will never be.
Just if a spider could look smug.
So
I feel like that's their natural state.
Yeah.
Thoughts, plans, how are we getting dear Rosemary out of there? Like, I can just force her into myself or someone else as a sort of possession.
Really?
Yeah. I put all my points into necromancy when I
Okay, yeah, man, that sounds awesome. But what does that entail?
So I have to touch a living creature and make it the host for a nearby spirit creature.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that's what she wants. Honey, what do you want? Like, tell me. We need to make
like, well,
you want.
I used to exist as like a mortal blood and flesh creature, and then I was sort of like a plant creature, which I am now, and I think I might be in some sort of extra dimensional afterlife for plants. Maybe that mucked up the magic of the spirit trap, but I'm curious about the next adventure as the next person. What did you have in mind?
Well,
She's like, there's all sorts of realms out there. I've been to quite a few.
like I said, you're welcome in my home. You can stay there as long as you like. I have a haunted mirror, which you're welcome to occupy as well. I could also just absorb you and then set you
see
free.
that Rosemary tries to like walk towards the mirror and like bounces off like the side of the crystal that she's in.
So if you need a person, I mean, you can put it, put her in me if it's something that you can get her back out. What about the kitty? Could she go into kitty?
Is the cat a ghost too?
I think so. She's here.
Who would be willing to house the feline?
Okay. Here's the thing. I talked with her. So I can only get her or the cat. I would need to rest to get both.
Well, I don't see any reason why we should have to part company with the cabbage immediately.
Okay.
And we do have a problem to solve first, so perhaps we come back and fix this after impending doom has ceased.
Because the cat's not in the sphere; it's outside the sphere.
No, it's in there.
Oh.
And then that is in some sort of thing that's draining its power.
Well,
make the furnace go.
Yeah, any like controls or anything?
Doesn't look like it. Looks like it's just pretty sort of utility or like Spartan design. It's just like put thing in here, furnace turn on.
Well, what if we just yanked the crystal?
We could do that. Let's start there.
Okay. Who would like to do that?
Uralu is definitely full of naivete, so he would have no problem reaching out and just trying to.
Sure. Make a roll. Let's just see what is if there's any choices to be made.
So that's 18.
Yeah, you accomplish your goal. It is like there's a momentary like sort of how like a freezer burn feeling of like so cold that it's hot as you pick it up, and you do take 2 points of damage, but you do successfully, you get it right out. It does not break. The orb doesn't break. But the furnace just sort of almost immediately is just like, and Ularn, you can see that trail is sort of like.
So are we no longer moving?
I mean, it's still. Yeah, I mean, it's not moving very fast.
It is
Okay.
slowed down.
Yeah.
So an object in motion is staying in motion.
Yeah, but it's not being like propelled.
Right, I dig.
It's fantasy space. It slows down, even though it wouldn't really, because there's no friction. But there's magic and shit. There's magic. The magic of your storytelling has actually formed this sort of like inertia barrier.
Yay, magic friction.
Yay. I mean, we are in a sphere of some sort, right? One of those spheres.
A giant crystal
Has an
sphere.
atmosphere.
So if there is, a story going on, would this be magic friction fiction?
Yes, you can have two adventure points for that double pun.
Can I pass them out because
Sure.
I have points? So I will give them back to Christopher.
Oh, cool. I can
Maybe you guys make
get both of them out then.
Oh, okay. So who's going where? Awesome.
I'm gonna ask her where she wants to go and where she wants her cat to be, because this needs to be her choice.
She's like, what's that, Samantha? And she says, well, that big fella looks like he's got a lot of good places to nap. Samantha's wouldn't mind curling up in there. And she's like, I already know you, kind of. That sounds kind of safe.
Okay.
That way, if you double cross me, I'll know where to find you.
That's fair. I mean, I am game for a good double cross now and again. But sure. And I start by pulling the cat spirit, and I'm like, Erlon, are you good with this?
I don't know. How does this work? And Erlon looks a little squeamish.
Oh, the cat goes inside you.
Erlon's eyes get a little big. That seems uncomfortable. What do you mean inside of me?
Let's go with Circos. And I sort of take the cat's flicking spirit and just kind of fling it towards her.
You immediately feel a cat-like demeanor sort of overlaid, interwoven in the complex web that is Circos's personality.
I press my fingers together, pull them apart in a cat's cradle, and then drop half of it and start batting at it.
I think it worked, Rosemary says.
Yes, and you next, dear. And he touches the crystal and pulls out the spirit, and then it just sort of.
Yeah, and you feel sort of like a
come
really.
on. You would do this.
You're right. He would. He just
Yeah, and sort of like a warm, really calm, comfort foodie sensation, and a definite herbal taste travels down and spreads throughout you. It kind of and Christopher has a distinct sort of patchouli odor that sort of just arises around him.
I get really close to Christopher, and I'm looking in his eyes, trying to look in his ear. Very much in his personal space. I don't see anything. Where's she at?
Inside me.
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm trying to see.
Oh, no. You misunderstand. She's literally inside my soul.
I don't really understand that stuff.
It's okay.
Your magnifying glass, you can actually see a sort of a spectral shape,
an aura.
Yeah, around, or within.
Oh, that's how that works.
Think about it like this. So, I was a peanut butter sandwich, and she was jelly, and now I'm a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And if the jelly doesn't want to be part of the sandwich, we're just going to scrape the jelly off and put it somewhere else in another jar.
I was good with it until you got to the scraping part. But I'll take your word for it, Christopher. And everyone seems happy. So let's go find some jars.
So I'm looking at this, now empty sphere. Does it
Mhm.
does it seem less cold? Does it seem?
No, actually, it is a magical item. You guys were pretty cleverly extracted the things like it. So it's a magic crystal orb that attracts spirit creatures nearby. A spirit creature that comes within reach of it, it's called a spirit trap, is sucked into it and imprisoned inside. It can only hold one spirit creature at a time. And when a spirit creature is tapped inside, a hazy image of its corporeal form can be seen from outside the orb. And spirits can generally only be released by the orb from shattering it, but thanks to Christopher's mastery of necromancy, that didn't happen. So now you have a spirit trap.
Again, and he'll just reach out towards Christopher. This seems like something that you could use.
I think this seems like something we put away for a rainy day.
Yeah, and you can actually feel like Rosemary's spirits are like tugged towards it, but it's not coming out of you. But it's like there's definitely.
So I just I'll
Sure.
put it in I'll put it in the ship. When we go back.
So very sadly, dear, unfortunately, I have used most of my magic and can no longer access my house for a short time. That being said, do you want to go there, or do you want to be free and roam the multiverse? It's really up to you and your cat what you do from here. I release you if you want. I won't hold you.
I'll hang around for a while if you're looking more into what's going on. I kind of concerned about the state of this wonderful plant life that I see all around. This is amazing. And then just notices that like the space around, and it's like, where are we? We're not in Fristad anymore, she says.
You were from Fristad?
Yeah, that's where I grew up and lived in the little seaside town there, and there was a Fey portal nearby, so I often traveled back and forth, visiting the fam and whatnot.
I see.
But
so
I don't remember anything like this around there.
I see. I think I see what happened here. You were turned into this. I'm so sorry. That probably wasn't your choice.
No. But this is pretty incredible. Is this giant cabbage leaves?
Yes. Yes, we are saving them from being turned into vile kimchi.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. I'd be more than happy to come along with you if you don't mind a ride along.
Oh, I don't mind at all. You're fine. However, fair disclosure, friends, I'm very, very tapped. So if we come to conflict, I will be residing in the back.
No worries.
Well, it is the hour, so you do get 2 AP back.
Ooh.
Because we like to give it out freely around here.
So, Erlon, about these urns, what do you think?
Well, I mean, it sounded like they're described as being some kind of corruption. We should probably get them and break them. Or dispose of them. I don't know. Maybe we just need a good dishwasher.
We could use a dishwasher.
Like maybe one of those ghosts. Maybe they have dishwashers in that ghost kitchen that could scrub away the corruption.
Ooh, that's not bad.
I kind of like breaking things. This way they can't, make the kimchi with it. And, kind of like breaking things.
That's fair.
Well, I was just wondering if we do that, if there's an unexpected consequence to doing that.
Like what?
I don't know, like we break it and the corruption goes someplace else, and then it's like instead of being a problem in the jar, it's a problem outside the jar. Like I'm not like wise in the ways of all the magic stuff, but
That is true. We don't want to mess up the cabbage.
We could remove the jars and you could break them elsewhere.
We don't know the nature of the corruption either, right? Will it spread? Will it all come together? I don't know. Like, is it connected to those deep fried ones? I think step one is find the jars, and then we can analyze them.
Sounds like a plan. Am I allowed to analyze the leaves as we're going? Like, because you said they were corrupted as we go.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. You have some kind of like diagnose thing, don't you?
I do, and that's free. So,
and you're a necromancer. Yeah, there is definitely like necromantic energy, or like sort of like a corruption that is spreading out, and it you're heading towards because Xandu's anthem gave you that where to go for the jars area, so you're heading that direction, and it certainly is getting more dense and widespread closer to there. And actually Rosemary inside sort of like winces too as you like are getting moving along, and just sort of like, oh, it's just terrible what's going on with the how could somebody do this to these poor plants? What have they done? She's like, I'm feeling like that it's something buried in this whatever we're on. Is this a giant head of cabbage? That's pretty cool.
More or less.
I mean, despite the necromancy going on.
Oh, what if there are more deep fried ones guarding these things?
Is there sort of like around like an outcropping of giant cabbage? Oh, were you gonna say something, Sir?
Yeah, I had my microphone popped up, so I didn't.
Sorry.
But I can do another turtle if I have to. I've got like other mind tricks that I can use. Don't worry about the crabs. I got this.
Oh, good. See, able to deal with so many things.
There is a sort of there's like you round around a corner, and there's like a big dome of like this sort of like purplish lightning sort of energy around it at the far across like a relatively flat place where like it's been pretty rocky, for lack of a better term, but this is like a plains type area. And you do see that within that dome is the good doctor, and it looks like you're not super far, you can kind of just tell, but it looks like he's holding something in his hand. He's definitely holding a book in his other, and you can't really hear much, but it looks like he's reading from a book while holding it.
Dr. Sherbert West, you left a trail. You did wrong. What did we say when we are committing crimes? You do not leave evidence. What is wrong with you? I mean, a big purple dome, you didn't think anybody would figure out that was sinister?
No, of course I did. He looks up from his book and sort of like puts his finger and, holds his place. He's like, I just know that none of you can stop me.
I feel like that was a challenge.
It was definitely a challenge.
Well, you're welcome.
All right. Are we near this particular dude?
You are nearby. No, you are too far at this point.
Okay. All right. Well, I will begin moving.
Okay.
And
action scene.
When I can get to nearby, I will do something.
Okay. So yeah, you start springing across this field, and I need you to roll a die.
That is a 5.
So yeah, you take you dart out across there, and underneath your foot, you see that there's like you just as you step on, it looks like the tap of like one of those clay jars, like with the little ball on the top that you pull off that your foot steps on. You're like, oh crap. And like this really sort of like sour vinegary liquid that also has like, for lack of a better term, awful, like OFFAL in it, just like blasts up over your foot. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, so you only make it to in range, and you take 2 points of damage from the force of this vinegary explosion.
As that happens, I want to whip Betsy off of my shoulder, which is my blunderbuss, and I'll reach into my spy sash and pull out my death hand shot.
Oh, what does that do?
A single shot hand cannon that uses a silent magic charge to propel a slug. The death hand can sense your target and guide your hand to make a perfect shot on any target you can see in your scene, including those that are far away.
Okay.
The shot hits for 6 HP. It instantly kills commoners and minions.
Okay.
And it's I have to pay 3 AP to do that.
And that's from your blunderbuss?
Yeah.
All right.
The gun that you almost lost?
No, that's a different gun. That's my pistol, my axe with the axe head on it.
That's a pistol?
That's the pistol, yeah.
It did 6?
Yeah, 6.
Okay. So yeah, it looks like the barrier slowed it down, but it still did damage to him. It was so powerful it even like it kind of took a moment, like that, and sort of like went through it. And it sort of like, is it like a big shot, like a ball?
Yeah. I imagine it's like a canister with maybe some runes and stuff etched on it that I drop in there and fire, and then I start like feeling around, like, oh, I only got the one shot on me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so the ball sort of like is broken apart by that, and just like shrapnel kind of like shreds into him.
Meaning I don't have enough action points to do that again.
Yeah, and yeah. So who would you like to pass it to next? In this
you know what? We'll save. We're gonna save his nemesis for last. So Circus.
Okay.
All right, so am I correct in assuming you have rid us of all of the trash mobs?
Who are you asking, me?
I'm asking Dave.
Oh no,
Like,
you shot at him.
I shot directly at him.
There is no there is
okay.
no minions or anything.
All right, cool. So let's see. In that case, I am going to create another illusion, but I'm going to make this illusion of Christopher.
Oh, okay.
And like just kind of have it move close to him and do a little like switcheroony so that you don't remember which one's which, and I'm just gonna pilot that to give him a better chance of hitting.
Okay.
Ooh.
Is there any sort of like specific things that I should know, like that? I don't want to.
It's okay. So what it says is conjure a major illusion that can be programmed with looping mechanics.
Okay.
So I'm
it's
gonna
just
have
like
to keep it moving because I don't think that it has a physical form. It's just like you see and smell and like sense this thing, and I'm just gonna like keep moving it in places where Christopher could be standing.
Sure. Just to sort of like disorient him and whatnot.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Who would you like to? I guess well, you can pass it to me or Christopher.
Yeah, this is round 1, so we're not anywhere near being accused of like just making you go last every time. So I'm gonna pass it to Christopher.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely, go for it.
Okay. How close can I get to him?
You can go from too far to in range.
I want to go to in range.
Okay, make a roll as you're moving across the.
Okay, 12 success.
Yeah, you do. You sort of like gingerly step and do not trigger any zombie bombs.
All right. So I'm just like looking right at him, maintaining eye contact. Like,
okay. And Oh, do you want to have any kind of like action or anything?
Oh,
Yeah, you can move and do one thing.
Okay.
Rules is for
I would.
unless you don't want to.
You. I think I'm good, actually. I'm just trying to make an impression right now.
Okay.
Because it's not even that I'm angry with him. I am disappointed and borderline appalled because we've discussed this before. Like, there are some things you don't do, and big, showy villain things is just not what you do.
He sort of like, he looks over at you and he's like, I pretended to be the meek culinary student just to learn their secrets, but now the power's mine. And he turns to the side and is not talking to you and just says, how one's stance toward a given environment places constraints on what one feels able to do within that environment. And then
See, this is exactly why I hired him. I thought he was better than this.
and then he goes back to what he was doing with that book, and you see that the the barrier's still there, but there's sort of like he's like talking louder and like incanting a spell, which you can tell. And the stuff that had exploded out of that jar is just sort of like a congealed mess that like kind of pulls itself together into like a horrid rotten vegetation form and tries to slam at Orlu nearby. And it is a success. It's sort of like a wet slap across you of this like really tart, sour, like, I don't know, rotten accelerated kimchi hits you for 1 point of damage.
Yeah. So, whatever this game's version of bloodied, I'm at 5.
Okay.
Oh,
This is not going well.
And we're back up to the top, and I will get it rolling with, we'll say Christopher can go first.
Okay. I would like to go the next step. Is Urulu in nearby or in range?
He's nearby.
I'm still getting used to the movement mechanics.
Yep, he's nearby.
He's nearby. So I want to move to nearby, so I'm nearby.
Okay.
And then I will use an action point to mend Urulu.
Oh, okay.
So I just sort of like say permission, like asking for it. And you see this like dark, shadowy, pink swirling energy coming off of his fingernail, and he just like digs his fingernail into your shoulder, and your veins blacken a little bit, and you get 5 hit points back.
Oh, geez, 5. Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
That makes, what I want to do that much better.
Awesome. Who would you like to pass it to, Christopher?
I'll pass it back to you again.
To me?
Yeah, I think that's dynamic.
Okay. He sort of like just glances up for a minute and is like, and he is going to spend his turn just finishing casting his spell, and this sort of like pulse of energy kind of like goes out from him, like just expanding outward, like a wave that goes beyond you and across, and you like feel this like really sweet taste in your mouth for a second. And actually, everybody roll a d20. Just
Ooh, okay.
And basically just tell me if you've got a failure or less.
Failure.
Success, 19.
I got a 3.
Okay. Anybody else fail? Oh, so yeah, just for a moment, like, and you're very used to, like tastings and things like that, and the status of your palate. And for a minute, you're like, I can't taste anything sour. It's like,
oh, this is
Sensations.
unpleasant.
So what happens if we fail?
the taste of sour appears to be missing from you.
Okay.
You know I love sour candy. You did this on purpose.
He's like, well, it is convenient that you showed up here. That's just an added treat for me. And then I will pass it to Urlu.
Am I able to get up to? Oh, no, never mind.
Oh yeah, did you want to move after you had chat at all?
Yeah, I would have wanted to get to Urulu probably.
Okay. Okay. Then I'm sorry. We'll have you go next. Then that seems.
That's fine. Urulu can go.
No, sorry, Tay. Go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
you can get nearby.
is this creature considered a common or a minion?
No. Dr.
Okay.
West?
No, not Dr.
Oh,
West.
yeah, it's a minion.
Okay, so I will spend a
Zamchi?
point. What is it?
The Zamchi?
Zamchi. I will spend an action point to use Urulu as cover to get behind
Okay.
the Zamchi and use my sneak attack and incapacitate it for 10 minutes.
Okay.
So basically, I get behind it and I just like give it a judo chop on the back of what might have been a neck.
Yeah, and it just in like kind just sort of like stiffens up and just falls forward out of camera. Do you say judo chap or is it a hippo chap?
It might be a hip.
I like the hippo chop.
It's a hippo chop.
So he just like pops up. I'm just picturing Urlu squaring off, and all of a sudden you pop up behind this pretty small thing, and just like hippo chop, and it goes down.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that happens
That's
while
what I'm
there's
picturing.
wrestling references going on in chat.
Is there?
Yes.
Nice. All right. Then who would you like to pass it to, Urlu?
To Urulu.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's
All right.
Sorry. We like-
So he can do his thing, whatever his thing is.
Yeah, I'm trying. So is Dr. Sherbert still doing any incantations, or is he stopped with whatever he was doing?
Yeah, it looks like yeah. I mean, there was an effect, so you can surmise whatever. it was
Well,
going
I
on.
will still attempt to get closer then and see if I can stop him from trying to get away, because that seems to be his typical shtick. So do I have to roll to keep moving?
Well, that barrier's in your way. You can only get nearby.
That's all I want to do is get nearby.
Oh yeah, you can get nearby for sure.
Okay. Well, then I am going to, yell out, and I will, Urlu will say a name, but I'm just going to insert name into what I say
Sure.
based off of someone that I had seen on a TV show. And you'll understand the reference when I get there of like, hey, Dr. Sherbert, your cooking is boring and unoriginal as insert name.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't want to, insult any possible real chefs out there that
Sure.
might have to fall under that name. So
Gotcha.
based on what Urulu would have seen. So I am provoking.
Oh.
Must be able to understand your intent. For the next minute, the target focuses its intention on me, ignoring all others.
Okay.
If the target is damaged by another creature, or if its hostilities subside, the effect ends. So,
Okay.
but it will stop him from doing any kind of ritual spells, and I would imagine he's gonna.
Yeah.
That was my intent.
Yeah. Sure. Who would you like to pass it to? This I think.
Sirkas is the only one that hasn't gone yet. So.
Okay. Yep. There you go.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna make an attack. Just gonna whip out my knitting needles and do a stab.
Well, you can only get nearby because of his dome of energy.
Okay, I didn't catch that last bit.
Oh, yeah, he has that big dome around him, so you can only get as close as nearby.
I'm trying to
Okay.
troll him out.
Yeah.
Can I climb up the dome with my sticky hands?
You could, but
Or is it not physical?
No, it is like it has kinetic energy to it. It might hurt you, but you could climb up there.
I'm gonna touch it and see if it hurts me.
It does. Take 1 point of damage.
Okay, then I probably should not be in prolonged contact with this, and I will wait where I am. I was the last one in the order?
Yep. So
Okay, I will pass it back to you.
Okay. So yeah, he starts out, and you see that he was reaching in his coat to get his what's it called, magician's key, that like the doctor, but then he hears Urlu's provoke, and he points that mummified claw at you, and like a sickly black beam, similar, like purplish black beam, similar to that dome, crackles that at you, and it hits you, and it does 4 points of damage.
Ooh.
Blasts through you, like through the, it just sort of like is amplified by that barrier and just like, like blasts into you.
I'm still possessed by a cat.
And then he sort of like looks, he's like looking down the clown. He's like, "You were saying," and he'll pass it to you since it's a new round or a loop. The only thing cooking appears to be your flesh.
I'm so disappointed. I was expecting a calamari reference.
But yeah, he's gonna just pass it over to you, Orlu, since we were starting a new round.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to draw him out of the bubble.
Oh, you'll see. Yeah, he does move. He'll move to where it's. He's like right on the other, like right. It's right up next to it, so he is nearby to you guys.
But I can't get to him because of this barrier.
What do you want to do? Pitch me.
Well, I mean, I'll totally just try to attack him through the barrier if at all possible.
Okay. Yeah, I mean he is right up to it, so yeah. Roll.
All right. So my standard, wild attack.
Sure.
So attack with reckless power, discarding your own safety. So I got a 6. What?
That was a tough check. Okay. So yeah, you Orlu is pretty expert with his weapons and stuff, and you get your sword. It doesn't hurt you, and he's so close to it that you swipe down. Except like your sword is actually melting as it's going down, so you could pull it out and save your sword, or it'll hit him, but it'll melt away.
Okay. Well, I'll lose the sword.
Okay.
So he takes 4 damage. But he gets to counterattack me. But I'm gonna have to go through the barrier too, if that's.
Yeah, he's not going to. He sort of like winces and just like like he'd never been actually, just like, looks up at you like, aghast.
And goodbye, sword.
Who's my favorite sword?
It is you to pass it.
That was my favorite sword.
You have to get Excalibur to replace it.
Huh.
Oh, that's a frying pan. But hey, who knows what it does?
All
One man's frying pan is another man's sword.
So you can pass to Christopher, Searcast, or Ularn, who I believe everybody's nearby except Ularn. He's in range because you were shooting stuff on him or sneak attacking. But yep, who would you like to pass to, Orlu?
I will. I'll send it to Ularn.
I'm just gonna do a normal attack.
Sure. With you have like projectile weapons. Right?
Yeah. With my blunderbuss with just a normal shot. 13 is a success.
Yep. It does. It manages to be powerful enough to penetrate some of the barrier. And it does just 2. It's not like a special power.
Yeah, just 2.
All right. Who would you like to pass it
to? So he's still inside the barrier, right?
Yeah, he was just like right up close to it, and
yeah.
It's
hey, Christopher, can you do something about that?
I can certainly try. I would like to. Did the barrier look like it was solid when Searcast touched it, or it just like harmed her when she touched it?
It looks like it is. I mean, and you've seen Ularn's projectiles hit it too. I mean, there is some. You can touch it. Yes, like there's a. Like she could have climbed it if she wanted. It just would have been painful.
Okay, so it is solid.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can't just run through it.
Oh no! Yeah, you can't. I thought I didn't know what you were saying. Yes, you can run through it. Like his sword went through it.
Right through it.
Sure.
It just melted his sword.
It just does damage. That was a tough choice, man. He was literally trying to like hold it in there.
I'm just going off of the visual we just saw.
Yeah. Yes, you see Christopher just melt away as he just
his skeleton makes it in, but the rest of him does not.
When entering a conflict with someone, it's important to remember that they know you mean business. And I like make eye contact with him when I say that and bolt through.
Yeah, you do. You're able to get through. It does do 2 points of damage to get all the way through and push through, but you are inside of there with him.
Okay.
That was your movement.
Yep.
And you can do one
in
thing.
Front of him?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I snatch that book away from him?
You can give me a roll to try.
Okay. 13?
You do, yeah. He's still like just sort of like wincing from where Orlu had struck him, and he seems to be clutching the claw in his book, and you just like grab it out of his hand sternly.
Yep. What were you thinking? What was this, West, huh? What is this?
He's like, do you know the power that's in that book?
Okay, here we go. I knew it. Go ahead, do your little monologue.
I don't have any monologue. I just want the power in the book.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Monologue. See, you keep saying, I'm not gonna, but so go ahead.
Make a roll to see if you are able to coax him to say anything.
14.
14. He's like, I can't taste anything, okay? I was born without taste buds. And the only way I can get it back is by enacting the gifts of bitter, sour, sweet, and bland. What's the other one? I can't think of it.
Is it umami?
No, that's the fifth mysterious flavor.
Savory?
Yes, sorry. Salty, sweet, sour, and bitter.
Now, what about this plot made you think I would be against it? What made you think you had to do all this?
Well,
Like, you want to be sinister and evoke the different things because there's some eldritch horror. I mean, I have Bethany in the basement, for goodness sakes. You should have just said something.
but I wanted my own army of Zamchis.
Of course you did. Everyone wants their own army of Zamchis. I wish you
I don't
had
want a
better taste in
Zamchi army.
kimchi, but
I also don't want a Zamchi army, and I have a hand.
How long was that thing incapacitated for?
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Oh, 10 minutes? Okay, yeah.
I put my hand on his shoulder. If you wanted to unlock the mysteries of the multiverse through necromancy and the necronom nom nom, all you had to do was ask.
But I wanted to do it myself. He's like,
But you don't have to do it yourself.
well, I guess I never thought about that. I mean, there's some pretty dark stuff in here.
Of course there is. That's why we love it.
Do I have to give the Dwargar their sour taste back?
Yes. We always endanger, but never harm.
He's like, well, I left Rangoon Prime there with the miners. There's no telling what he'll do.
Then
I think
maybe
their orders
that's
were to execute everybody if you guys showed up. Or if there
then
was any
maybe that's where
problems.
we need to go.
But now I can only taste sweet things and sour things. I mean, that really kind of sucks too. What does savory stuff taste like? And bitter.
They're very bitter and savory.
Well, obviously I can't comprehend what that means.
Doug, here's a question.
Sure.
So I'm an illusionist. I am a master of ensnaring the senses. Can I just tap into the part of his brain that would sense these things and bypass the taste buds and just give him an idea of what he's missing?
Sure.
Oh, yeah. Torment him for eternity.
Well, no, because we're gonna fix it, but like, here's the sampler, basically.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, his eyes just do sort of go wide, and he's just like, what is this explosion of different flavors I can taste now? He's
So
like, oh, go ahead.
what I have in mind is if you want to call off this mad quest that you're on and let us help you, then I can share the flavors of the things that we're eating on the way there.
It's like, but I spent like just decades perfecting this diabolical plan.
Oh, honey. Oh, honey. Oh,
I mean,
honey.
did you see the spectacle at the gala?
I did, and that's the problem. What is the first rule of committing a crime?
I don't know. I'm a scientist, not a criminal.
We've talked about it every time. Don't leave evidence.
It was very extra. Just be a little bit more subtle about it.
Can I still turn people into food monsters once in a while?
If they're
Sure.
bad people.
Wait a minute. I have a question.
Yeah.
Are we criminals?
Or annoying people.
I don't think so.
Or if they
Not
park on
yet.
the line between parking spaces instead of in one of the parking spaces.
So at
They talk in the movie theater.
at Circasa's line, there is definitely a paling of white skin showing on Ularn now.
Do you park on the line between the parking spaces?
No?
I think he talks in the movie theaters.
We'll have to break you of that. You're not allowed to turn Ularn into food. Or Urulu. You guys have names that start with the same syllable.
And I hear there's a special place in hell for those people.
You said
probably is.
annoying people.
Oh, you're not annoying.
Oh, you don't know what I'm reacting to.
Oh,
I mean, come on, he stowed away on your ship and asked lots of questions. I am
that's actually hilarious. No, the things that annoy Sarkis are very specific, and she wasn't even thinking about that.
So I feel like the immediate thing we need to deal with. Urulu, how do you feel about continuing to fight things? Because there's apparently a Rangoon Prime that's threatening all of the miners and has them hostage or some nonsense.
I'm just happy I'm allowed to stay on the ship. I'll do whatever you guys want.
Erlon, what do you think?
Well, I thought you brought me here to shoot things, so
Oh, well, then we're all on the same page. Great.
I still have bullets left.
Dr. West is like, yeah, with that book and the ritual I was enacting, the Rangoons won't listen to me. He's like, but they do have a very strong vulnerability to spicy dipping sauces. They seem to enjoy bathing in them, immersing themselves in it. I don't know. Maybe it's like a holdover from the edible form. I haven't mastered that recipe yet.
Ooh, we could use this. Do we have spicy ingredients?
Oh, we can always get them.
I have some black powder. That's kind of spicy.
Yeah, it is. Black pepper, black powder. It's spicy. So, I would guide that as spicy.
Oh, I know. I've got a plan. We build the black powder spicy dipping sauce. Once they get in it, we ignite it.
Yes, I'm all about that, actually.
So you want to set the taste buds on fire?
What'd you say?
You want to set their taste buds on fire?
I want to set all of them on fire.
You know, Erlon, you should stick with that BAM. It works well for you. Maybe it's just because you're generally rotund, but I think it works well.
I'll test it out.
Don't you need a spice weasel to say BAM?
I love that Steven muted himself to laugh. Like he must really be losing his shit right now.
I hold up my axe-headed black powder pistol. That's the name of my axe-headed black powder pistol, Spice Weasel.
I'm okay.
Are you sure?
I'm okay.
How did you know? I hadn't told anybody.
I mean, I've traveled a little bit, and there are people that they have spice weasels, and that's how they flavor their food.
The spice weasels of the whatever nebula.
As Doug frantically makes notes.
I know, it's like we're world building here.
Yeah. Hey man, it's a whole universe.
Sure.
I don't know that much stuff.
Steal from everywhere. That's what Nerdarchy says.
And then after we blow them up with the dipping sauce and add the BAM, I pull out my keyboard tactical spork. Then the real fun begins.
Oh, he's discovered food that isn't in a paste. So he just go with it. I say to Sherbert West.
He's like, yes, I'm familiar with GIF. Their cuisine's almost as boring as the hellish bland food I've been eating for my whole life.
Not for long if Erlon has anything to say about it, I'm sure.
He does seem just a little disappointed that his grandiose dreams were dashed, but he's, it just happens. Raw still.
Darling, it is much more fun to terrorize the galaxy like a goddamn family.
Exactly. Also, you were clearly very bad, and I feel very bad that you spent so much time on this plan that was clearly half-baked.
It's like, do you know what I had to go through to get this scepter?
No, and frankly speaking, I don't want to because I'm already disappointed.
So now that we're
I
kind
would
of
like to know.
not fighting, I will look at the scepter. Does that?
Oh yeah, you know what it is. It's a mummified insectoid claw.
So
Oh no.
I would say that Sir Koss would know.
Is
more.
that Stan's?
You mean that clickety clackety fool from your original adventures? Dr. West says.
My face blanks,
like
and it is
grandfather's
the look
arm.
of someone who requires an immediate explanation unless you want to be dinner.
He's like, I don't know. He's like, the last I saw that blithering moron, I left him to his own devices on Fantasty Island.
Fantasty Island? That does sound great, but also, why did you leave him there?
Well, he was trapped in a Fantasty there, like many of their unwitting victims, but I lured him there in order to get this.
But once again, you left a witness. Do you see what was wrong with that?
Didn't matter so far. Oh, are you going to go there and try to find him next?
You are coming with us, and yes.
Oh, no. He's going to be really pissed at me.
Exactly.
Okay, I don't let family members hurt family members, so just be good, and I'll make sure that he's good. But honestly, we should probably let him punch you once I feel like that would be fair.
I mean, in all fairness.
Why did you want grandfather's arm?
Oh, that's a powerful relic. It's a foci.
I spent that entire adventure thinking that he just had it for sentiments.
Oh no, it carries the essence of their hive mind. It's encoded into the DNA of this thing. It's very useful. I found it to be useful practically and necromantically.
But it was a sword.
What's that?
But it's a sword.
I always just understood it was just like his forearm claw that was like mummified.
I thought he used it as a sword.
Yeah, he did. It was his weapon. It was basically just like a short sword, I think. It was just like hardened, old chitinous thing.
So you
but yeah, now that you're sort of like looking at it, like, I mean, he'll let show it to you. Like, see how finally those runes are carved into the chitin there, and you see that there's like little, sort of like, weird symbols and things like etched into it in certain places.
So why are we leaving this dude alive? If he's attacked 5-hand stand, stole from him, and did all of this other crappy stuff along the way.
I mean, kidnapping
animated some
fun
food
sometimes. Rescues can also be fun. And we're learning how to not be terrible at villainy. And I glare at him.
He's like, hey, maybe it's a good fantasy that he's trapped in.
And also, we're going to learn how to make amends because, I mean, don't you believe that everyone deserves a second chance somewhere along the way?
I mean, honestly, no, but I like you and you want to do it, so.
Is
Well-
amends one of the recipes in the Gastronomicon?
I don't know about any of that, but I feel like we gotta save the miners first. I want to start grabbing like one of the really big like cabbage leaves
Okay.
and try to start shaping it into a bowl.
Oh, okay.
And then like you know how like cabbage and lettuce and stuff have like the veins.
Mhm.
So I want to start, and then after the bowl, I want to start stripping out the veiny parts to make like a
Sure.
fuse.
Okay. You know, like how people make like all that stuff out of like the bamboo stalks and stripping.
Yeah.
You're doing that with giant things of cabbage.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Does anybody want to? Yeah. I mean, it looks like pretty crude but serviceable. Field work.
Well,
So
yeah, I
you're-
figure while I'm doing that, like the actual people that cook stuff can combine the gunpowder, the black powder from.
Yeah. Sure. Oh,
you know,
so we're doing an impromptu trial to make a deceptive vat of spicy dipping sauce. Okay.
Yeah.
And that is what you do. So give me a roll, Ularn. We'll just see.
Oh no.
Is there a mechanic for helping
Oh.
people?
A 16.
You could say that you were, and we'll see. No, I mean, you could just contribute to that part by doing that. But nevertheless, yeah, you sort of just from hanging around Christopher and hearing his asides and thinking like, oh yeah, it's gonna look good too. You do accomplish your goal and make a pretty
Well,
nice
so
looking
essentially,
bowl.
right? Like we've made like these tortoise shelters in the past for in the field. So I
Okay.
kind of like made one of those, but inverted it or flipped it upside down, But then it's also got the fuse running off of it. So
okay.
then after we get the sauce done and the rangoons go in, we can light the fuse.
Nice. And yeah, it's completely, it won't leak or anything too, because of course you didn't want to make leaky shelters in the rain. So this is a unleakable bowl with fuse. All right, who's next? We're going to contribute to
All right.
this.
So I'm gonna go in a different direction.
I love how you're using your fighter things in different ways.
I will not. This time I'm going in a completely different direction. I want to, like, cooking can be stressful, so I want to lighten the mood with a joke.
Oh,
So
okay.
Uralu will say, "What kind of ingredient do you never put in your pot?" And that's an 11, so a success.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll say, "A leak."
Okay, that is definitely contributing to the overall. Everybody's like working really hard and stuff and fast.
Yeah. Urlan will stare at him, or Urlan will stare at Urlu for like a minute, and then he starts like cracking up.
That is awesome. All right, Dr.
They'll keep
Christopher.
coming. Guaranteed one per episode.
Awesome, love it. We'll go with Sirkas since Dr. Christopher is currently having a laughing fit. What are you going to contribute to this scheme?
Keeping the crabs busy while they work.
Okay. Give me. Are you doing anything special? Like, what do you do? I mean, are you like sort of in sight of them, or do you want to like sketch? Like, I assume you were like right there, but it could be.
I'm just like weaving illusions for them
Oh.
to chase and play with.
Okay, so yeah, as you do that, you sort of creep up to check it out. You do see that there's several of these Dwargar miners who are sort of like held captive by a bunch of these crab rangoons, and there's a much larger one than the others who appears to be just sort of directing them. But for the most part, they just sort of look like they're unsure what to do. Like they were given orders to guard these people, and that's the last they heard. So give me a roll to see how good you do that.
13.
That is a success. So yeah, you're able to distract them, and as they are sort of distracted, and you're I don't want to take too much, like if this is not something you want to do, but just sort of like you're in visual range of them. You do catch the attention of one of the miners too, who spots you, and they don't shout out, but they just sort of like see you, maybe like crawling along the outside of wherever they're at, and you see them like sort of like whisper to the other miners and get the sense of like, okay, they see that there's people there, so they look a little like, not as panicked. And then Stephen, would Christopher like to contribute to this scheme?
I would like to use my food stylist kit
Okay.
to help, or food styling tools to help make the bowl that Erlon has made look even more like what he's trying to make it look like.
Okay. More enticing.
Yes.
All
right. No, I got a 7. So it's a tough choice. The generator says your armor breaks or a plague spreads.
I will say that in trying to fix it up, yes, you can either not contribute a success to the trial, or you can contribute 2 successes, but will introduce a sort of like virulent, like, what do you call it? Devegetation strain into the Carnab asteroid.
I feel like one is more interesting than the other.
Yes.
Let's go with the more interesting one. 2 successes and a virulent strain.
Okay.
That's good, because we actually need someone to make the sauce still.
Well, I just assumed that was being done. This is just like what you're
okay.
Adding to it for the little bit of flavor. And then yeah, I mean, making a sauce, any of you could do that, no problem. Except maybe you will learn the skills. But you know what's spicy. Oh, it's got the black pepper. Yeah, so Dr. West will deliver it for you if you would like. I mean, I'm not trying to trick you. I'm just saying, like, he'll be like, well, they know me. I mean, if that's your intention, they wouldn't be surprised to see me. And he's like, and I'll stay with it, so I won't be, if it makes you feel better, then I'll get caught in the blast too.
I feel like that's against the whole thing they were trying to do here. Why would you get caught in the blast?
I'm just saying, if you don't trust me, I'm just.
We don't trust you, but we also don't need you to be caught in the blast.
Right. Trust can be earned. It can also be taken away. So if you have something up your sleeve, maybe now is not the best time to try that and prove that you can be a good villain.
Blast or Phenite.
You see, as you're saying, like, yeah, have anything up his sleeve, you see he's like pushing his key back down into his sleeve, as you say, like, hides it back there.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
You have a house too, don't you?
I do.
I knew it. Yeah. I mean, I love your
He's like necromancer to necromancer, though. I got your back on this one.
Okay. Do I believe him?
Culinary school student signer. Yeah.
Is there a way to insight check? I don't know.
But I'd say, yeah. I mean, I'll just narrative say, like, yeah.
He seems sincere.
Yeah, he seems sincere.
All right, well, I'll lay out the fuse as he's like dragging it off, getting ready, with my flint and tinder to light it once they all get in to take their sauce
So I'm
bath.
imagining, it's a pretty big thing. I mean,
yeah.
Those things are like human size or more, and you want to fit all of them. There's like 3 plus Rangoon Prime. So yeah, he sort of maneuvers it in there. We'll say he built some sort of cart or whatever on rollers. And it's so basically where they were was sort of like the main output, like where they're all stationed and stuff like that. And they just sort of had the people in the main like courtyard area inside of like a structure. And even as he is getting nearby them, you see them all like look up. I'm imagining you guys are watching from cover or whatever. And they do sort of like, kind of go in. The prime one seems a little hesitant at first, but yeah, it is definitely enticing. And they all are like looking at him, and he's just like, yeah, go ahead. And they all sort of like clamber on into it. And that, you know, he's like, yes, it's a reward for doing such a good job of holding these hostages here. And I like sort of looks over his back, and the prime one's like looking at him a little suspiciously, but otherwise they all are in there, and the miners are just sort of like totally flabbergasted. But that's where we're at. How would you? What's the next step in the plan?
Like the
And he just
fuse.
sort of like backs away and is like telling like the miners, you know, and they sort of like back up too.
Yeah, so I'll spark the tinder on
Okay.
the flint and tinder on the fuse.
All right, just roll the die just to see what the.
Oh man, I've had way too many successes tonight.
I know. Let's have a catastrophe or something.
Oh, an 18.
18. Okay. Yeah, you had Dr. West backs away, and the miners had backed away too, like back into their quarters and stuff. And yeah, I mean, as they're sort of like, you know, you see those things like at first they were wary, you know, sort of like, is this okay? But they were like all chilling in there, and just like, yeah, you know, in this big vat of spicy stuff, and this fuse, they're sort of like licking it off their fried claws. And do you want to describe how it explodes? Go for it, man.
Yeah, so like I do, like I light it and then I turn my back to it, hunker down, and then I pull out my tactical spork and I'm like, soon. And behind me the fuse is burning, you know, slowly until it finally gets up to the bowl itself.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's connected to the veins in the cabbage leaves, so the whole bottom of the bowl itself acts as, you know, part of the fuse, igniting the gunpowder. And because of the shape of the bowl, you know, the explosion forces it straight up like a geyser of sauce and Rangoon. So if the force of the explosion itself doesn't kill off the Rangoons, the fall will. And so it's just raining.
Does it actually have like a damage attached to it or not? Or, I mean, was that like a power, or you guys?
Oh no, I'm just making up.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Again, a lot of it's I don't know the thing, so I don't want to like not like sell your abilities short because
No. I mean, you know, I had my old timey. Yeah. I figured like we just kind of mixed the black powder in from my old timey bombs and whatever I use for my weapons.
Yeah, they do. It just does rain down like this. Just it looks delicious. It's sort of like I was picturing that sort of like chili paste sauce that often comes with crab rangoons. I don't know what anybody else was. So it's just sort of that mixed with like chunks of fried crab. Like, you know, chunks in it and stuff. But the prime one's like head sort of lands on the top, and you see as it's sort of like expiring. It looks at Dr. West. Like, why?
So do you think they're fired?
And then I imagine like bits of the crab rangoons like get embedded into the cabbage. And that is how the virulent vegetation infection happens.
Yeah, is it like forced into stuff? Sure. And the miners sort of come out, and they're just like, you know, they just heard a big explosion. They're like, "What the hell? Who are you guys? What just happened?" They actually seem like what you know of Dwargars, like they're usually very grim and dour, and these people seem pretty upbeat. For Dwargar, they're like,
"Well, you are now safe."
Okay, that's good. Is like, one of them's like, "Does that mean we have to go back to work?" And the other ones are like, "I feel like working."
Well, I don't know about, I'm not your boss or anything, but there's Rangoon with spicy gunpowder sauce. Dig in as I grab my tactical spork and begin eating.
Oh yeah, they do join you in that. They seem like particularly, upbeat for Dwargar. And as they're sort of like, all, enjoying the camaraderie and digging in with Ularn, Dr. West turns, he's like, "That's from the sour gift." He tells you.
What did Dr. West say?
He
I didn't hear.
told Christopher, he's like, it's part of the sour gift I gave them.
Oh,
Or-
part of the sour gift.
He's like, yeah, not only did it rob their sour taste, it seems to have taken their sourpuss outlook with it.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Um,
You don't even know the powers that are in that necronom.
no, but I intend to find out. That being said, everyone, so there are a couple of options here. Now, Sirkos, clearly you aren't always comfortable with redemption, which is fine. So we could make him face justice with these people. We could keep him in the literal dungeon that Bethany also guards in my basement. We could just stab him and I could raise him as a minion and then he'll be undead and thus not really in as good a way to use the Necronom Nom Nom.
Hey, I'm right here.
I know, that's why I said it. I mean, I've never lied to you, have I?
You've got me there. You've got a cold logic.
Oh, if I'm not the one taking it out of his hide, I'm completely disinterested in what happens to him. He'll eventually gel. It'll be fine. However, I do want to make a priority of getting Stan out of whatever Lotus Eater machine they stuck him in.
And Stan should, get grandfather's arm back, right?
Indeed.
Stan's not
Probably should do
going to be happy about you taking his things.
that. Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll have to go face the music, or is that that's what heroes do?
Does Stan play an instrument? I don't. That
I
wasn't.
have no idea. I do, however, want to point out, just because we're not straight up villains doesn't really mean that we're heroes. It's okay to be somewhere in the middle there. That is a false dichotomy.
Well, there's hope for you yet, then.
And for you, because clearly you struggled with this. But that's okay. It was a learning experience.
So did he struggle because he just wasn't good at anything, or was it that he just wasn't good at being evil?
That I'm
I
not
mean-
sure about.
Did I not summon the great mold ones and turn people into hollow beasts? I hijacked this asteroid, by the way.
You did a little bit, but it didn't take us all that long to find you and stop you. Just saying.
There's only one other person that should have a say in his justice or whatever.
Hey, if you wouldn't have provoked me, I would have gotten away. You look for Orlu.
Rosemary,
Yes.
what do you say about a redemption arc for this one?
Oh, I mean, all plants can wither and rebloom with proper care and tending. I don't see why a person would be any different. She's like, speaking of withering plants, what is going on? Did something happen to this beautiful cabbage? I thought we were snapping it.
Well, we
Feels like
thought we
there's-
were, but it was an accident, I swear.
She says, like, I may be able to fix it if you could let my spirit go. Maybe I could kind of meld with this planetoid. And
Do you want to be a cabbage?
well, I didn't even want to be a plant person or dead or trapped in that crystal. It's pretty nice in here, though. But for a time, sure. I mean, this is what's the alternative? Letting this magnificent thing die?
You're right. You are
I
a
like
hero.
her.
I do too. Are you going to release her cat to go with her, Sirkos?
Oh, by all means.
I wouldn't want to go on this journey without Samantha. Well, you can do that if you like. I wish I would have gotten to see her home, Christopher, but maybe another time.
Absolutely.
You let them go.
Yep.
All right, but yeah, I mean that feeling of that warm sensation, the cat-like inclinations leave you and sort of like travel down into the ground, and you can see that like where that energy went in, it already begins to like sort of become greener and crispier, and just travels down into the core of the planetoid. And I believe, what is your intention? Well, we could just pick up next time. But I think, just for my own guiding things, you're intending to go to Fantasty Island next? Oh, okay. So then, if you're curious what happens at that place, then I suggest you come visit us next Tuesday at 8 p.m. to see where these culinary explorers end up next time. And you can visit the channel back on Thursday at noon and Friday, where Dave will be here with a new guest, the industry pro or creative professional. And Ted's game is this Friday, right? At 8 p.m. on this channel.
The next session of Untraditionally Arcane, where Robin and myself will be back Friday night. So just good 70-hour wait between now and then, and we'll be good to go.
All right. Anybody else have anything else going on this week? No. All right. Well then, thanks for playing with me, everybody, and enjoying this game. Thanks to all the people in chat for hanging out as always. And until next time,
stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.